Welcome in everybody to the 49ers podcast. I'm your host, Matt Daniel, as always joined by my co-host, John Gallagher. John, how are we doing today?
Doing well. How about you?
I cannot complain. The Niners are 1-0. What else could you want in life,
Healthier players overall, but that's just me. I'm picking nits when I say that.
Yeah, we will get into that. We'll get into the mystery of Brandon Ayuk, where he went. We're going to have to probably hire a specialist to figure out what happened there. But before we do that, make sure to follow us on Twitter. Our ats are on the screen. We are at 49ers for our Twitter, and then our YouTube is youtube.com/the 49ers podcast. If this is your first time joining us, we are live every single Wednesday right at this time, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 Eastern. And we are also live after the 49ers game to discuss what we saw, pretty much just our raw thoughts. And that, I think, is my whole spiel. So let's get into the game. What was your initial thoughts from the 49ers? What's your biggest takeaway from the game? What did you like? What did you dislike?
I thought the opening snap drop was a bad omen. That's not I don't love that.
So you're blaming Jason Barrett's knee on the original snap. Bad luck. It's just bad juju.
I don't know. I don't know what to blame it on. But the Trey Sermon healthy scratch took me by surprise. Absolutely. Like, he looked like he was having a fine preseason. So him being the healthy scratch, I love that we won, but I have so many questions right now about the Niners and like what we're doing. This narrative around, Trent Sherfield playing his ass off and then having a good preseason and a good training camp and then earning more of a role. Like, okay, he's good, but we're talking about the guy that you took in the first round and is supposed to be the future wide receiver one of this team. Like, why are we taking snaps away from that? So those things I didn't like. And then the defense, we lost, we lost some corner depth early.
Yep. For those who, don't check Twitter every 5 minutes. I mean, Verrett did tear his ACL. He is out for the season. Raheem Mostert is also out for the season. He is getting season-ending surgery on his knee. Yeah. So those are the two biggest things. Verrett is by far the biggest thing, the biggest issue for me. As far as injuries go, I mean, I can talk about Ayuk all day long. I mean, everything that we say at this point is just speculation. Yep. What is Kyle Shanahan doing? Why is he doing this? Is he mad at Ayuk? Is he upset because Ayuk's not vaccinated? Is Ayuk have a bad work ethic at practice? I mean, we don't know. Trey Sermon, I don't know either. I mean, that one's almost just perplexing.
Nothing indicated that, right? We read the beat reports. We were talking about it. We were talking about it in the offseason. Yep. They were having good training camps. Trey Sermon was getting a lot of work. Elijah Mitchell popped up sometimes having great pass protection. And then Ayuk, when he was playing, was playing with the ones and looking good. There was never this idea of anybody's kind of losing a step or anything like that. So it was just surprising to see measures like that taken week one.
Yep. And this isn't a knock on Elijah Mitchell in any way. He showed he balls and he deserved every rep that he got, but Sermon played well in preseason as well. There was a time where he saved Trey Lance's life in pass protection. And the fact that it's just Elijah Mitchell outperformed him so much that I'm not even going to activate Trey Sermon. I just don't.
I have so many questions.
Make sense.
It doesn't make
sense.
At
this point, it doesn't matter because now Trey Sermon's going to be active because
you need him.
We did sign Kerryon Johnson and we signed Trenton Cannon today, but both of those are pretty much irrelevant. It's it's going to be Trey Sermon, JaMychal Hasty, Elijah Mitchell until Jeff Wilson comes back. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a committee than people expect.
True committee. Yeah.
True committee. A lot of, obviously there's hype to go, sign Elijah Mitchell and off waivers because he's the number one priority right now. I mean, that's good and all, but I think he's also going to disappoint a little bit. If you're expecting Kyle Shanahan to hand the reins over to a running back, then you really haven't been paying attention because that's just not what Kyle Shanahan does.
It's Niners haven't really run that way. They run through a committee a lot.
And he's very hot hand. I mean, we saw Tevin Coleman have big games. We've seen Jerick McKinnon, Matt Breida. I mean, no names. This thought just kind of popped into my head. Do you think that every time that we have a guy who's proven, like Brandon Ayuk, proven wide receiver,
Yeah.
All these guys that we have, that Kyle Shanahan seems to have these weird, like, not grudges, but just like kind of just treating them weirdly. They're all seem to be pretty high capital guys. Is
I
it
mean, high
he's just
capital.
like, Brandon Ayuk, high first round pick. We traded up for Trey Sermon, Dante Pettis, second round pick. Pettis seemed a little bit like warranted, but is he just like, I just want to show my magic and with my
I don't
sixth
know.
round running back?
I don't hear anything about Bosa. He's taken pretty high.
Yeah, he was taken pretty high, but
so I don't know.
Maybe
The
not.
Pettis thing kind of makes sense. Like he's kind of been proven right on that. Like Pettis hasn't been able to stay on a roster.
Yeah, he was definitely right about Pettis. I don't think.
So like it's a bummer. It's a bummer when you swing and whiff like that. And wish Dante Pettis all the best. But I don't think that they're the same situations here.
No, I don't either.
The talent level, I think, is much greater, a much greater difference.
Yeah, and that's the biggest issue, is just because we all know what Ayuk can do. Best case scenario, I mean, I'm hoping that his hamstring wasn't fully, like ready. He just wanted to pitch count him a little bit, and then he thought Trent Sherfield played well enough to sort of do a little bit of a split with Ayuk, and then next week it's like, okay, Ayuk, go crazy.
I know. For me, I don't know. Just shut him down then, right? Like just say Ayuk, rest up, because if it's really a hamstring issue, like you can pull that shit running your route, and then they still deployed him at punt returner. So like if the hamstring was the issue, like those are things that will really, that'll test if the hamstring's ready to go or not, in those moments.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah. If it was an issue, I would have just preferred it than like, all right, rest up.
Yeah.
Hang out with Trey Sermon.
Yeah. And I feel like he could have said that too. He's like, his hamstring wasn't ready. I just felt like pitch counting him more. I feel like Trent Sherfield and Mohamed Sanu and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle are a good enough wide receiver core where we don't need Ayuk. So I just wanted to pitch count him. He would, he could run a few routes here and there just to kind of get a little bit of a feel. But that's all I'm willing to do with Ayuk right now. That's not what he said, So,
yeah. And I think it's this like way like Shanahan's acting like it's not weird that he just did that. That's like so annoying.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. It doesn't make any sense. He's just like, oh yeah, what? Why is it weird that I just
right? If Pete Carroll sat DK Metcalf because Dwayne Eskridge was having a hell of a camp, he'd answer for it, right? Like he'd have same shit. Like you're taking your touted wide receiver one, the guy that you spent the high draft pick for, and then you're just acting all coy, like no big deal. Trent Sherfield, guy who couldn't make a practice squad, showed up and he brought his lunchbox and he's been playing well. And it's like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I feel like beat reporters and beat writers and all of them pay attention to what's going on. No one saw any of it.
No one had any indication. Yeah, we read that shit very closely.
Yeah,
and there was never a sign. There, like Trent Sherfield did have strong showings in the preseason, but he also did it with second team, right?
Yeah, right. Like Trent Sherfield had a great camp. Nobody's denying that,
right?
But nowhere in the world did anybody think that he played so well that now he's taking Ayuk's job. Right. Wouldn't he eat into Deebo's job first? Because Ayuk really is kind of our wide receiver one.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Especially because like there wasn't even a report of like Trent Sherfield working with the ones. I didn't even see that. So I understand he had a good camp and you like the fella, but this acting like it does, like this whole thing is just like no big deal. I know that it's so annoying as a fan. Because as a fan, I'm rooting Ayuk hard. I want to see that guy ball out. So if it's an injury issue, just rest him up, get him ready. If it's not, I want so much more clarity.
And just say it. Yeah.
Just say it. Say he's dog in practice if that's what's happening. And I don't think that's what's happening, right? There's been no indication of that.
his answers are always just so perplexing too. He never gives a straight answer. He's like a politician. He's
It's
never going to
annoying.
tell. Yeah. It's so annoying, especially for someone who's trying to like. I mean, we're trying to run a podcast here, Kyle. I mean,
yeah, God damn it!
You know what I mean? Give us something.
A livelihood.
Yeah, right. So I don't know what's going on there. I mean, hopefully we'll just see Ayuk back in his true form next week.
That makes the most sense, right? Like it just makes the most sense that they get that going, because they didn't like Kittle wasn't targeted very often. It was really just a Debo show and the Mitchell show, right? They didn't stray, because you know what? They didn't have to.
No, they didn't have to.
So,
and, I mean, that's another thing too. If you want to talk about why Kittle wasn't getting, I mean, Kittle was averaging like 19.5 yards per catch. Kittle was super efficient when he had the opportunity. And he's going to more. I'm assuming that the Lions just game plan for Kittle. And so the 49ers said, okay, Debo, here's 189 yards, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that was sort of the, just the way it went. It'll probably be different. I don't expect, you know, Debo to carry that much of a load every week. So.
No, that was a lot of target share. And yeah, it's just not really how the Niners, like Kittle's going to get fed, right? Yep. Like, you watch how the Raiders feed Darren Waller. Like if Kittle had that kind of target share, it'd be bonkers.
Yeah. I just don't, I mean, obviously Darren Waller's really good at football, and that's why he's able to, you know, put up those numbers. But at what point do you just say, let's just triple team this man?
They're going to have to.
You know what I mean? It's like when the dude gets 19 targets a game, I feel like doesn't take like mastermind defensive coordinating skills to try and
I think that's what Gruden wants. Like, that's why he has Ruggs, you know? So, like, please triple team him so he can just run free straight.
Just run fast, yeah.
Just run a straight line freely.
Yeah, that must be.
That's how I try to play it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I probably would too. Let's move on to cornerbacks. So after Jason Verrett went down, we saw Dante Johnson come in because Emmanuel Mosley's still hurt. I'm going to run through all these injuries real quick just to make sure I don't miss any.
Hit me with them.
Raheem Mostert, knee out for season. Jason Verrett, an ACL out for season. So those are the two worst ones. So we're just getting better from here. Dre Greenlaw, groin. He's day-to-day. He should play. Cornerback Emmanuel Mosley, his knee. He didn't play last week, but he's week-to-week. He may play. Then Javon Kinlaw, shoulder. Nothing new week-to-week. Neither of them have practiced. Marcel Harris, his oblique. Is hurt, but he's probable. And then Eric Armstead's hurt his abductor. He's probable as well.
Who else hurt their abductor?
That was Elijah Mitchell.
Oh, Elijah Mitchell.
And we were just talking about, like, have you ever heard of that injury? It seems like I haven't, but
no.
I mean, apparently now it's already happened to two different Niners. So,
but maybe an indicator of a strong game coming up. Right?
Maybe you hurt your abductor, you ball out. Are we seeing 2-3 sacks from Eric
you abduct more of a role with whether it's on the offense or the defense?
Maybe.
I think they're trying to say something without talking. You know what I'm saying?
Like an abductor isn't even a body part. It's just like this guy's just going to be featured.
They're asking us to read between the lines. You know what? That's what we do. We do that here.
There we go. So with the cornerback injuries, if Emmanuel Mosley doesn't play, Dante Johnson is probably going to have to start. It's either Josh Norman or Dante Johnson. I think we can both agree. I hope it's Josh Norman.
I guess, but like honestly, they both that's both super worrisome.
I have a hard time. Like, I just think a move is going to have to get made at some point for the 49ers, because I mean, even if Emmanuel Mosley comes back and him and Demo and then Kwan, those are the corners, that's not too bad. But the fact that one injury means Dante Johnson has to play, that's unacceptable. It's not. We can't win a football game if Dante Johnson is on the field in any capacity. He can play nickel corner like well enough to where the game isn't just over at that point. But if he's out wide, it's over. We saw that. Jared Goff, he literally just stared at whoever was in front of him and then threw it. Yeah. Because he was open by 10 yards.
It worked. Yeah, Dante, it's a liability at, that cornerback depth. And it's going to be tested incredibly, hard against the Eagles, because Devonta Smith looked pretty real. Dallas Goedert is a receiving threat of a tight end. And then Jalen Reagor is another speedster. You match that with the mobile quarterback who could extend plays. The cornerbacks are going to have their work cut out for them against the Eagles.
Yep. They are going to have their hands full. I mean, we saw what the Eagles are capable of last week. I mean, they were playing the Falcons.
Falcons aren't good.
Very bad.
Right.
But I mean, you got to also credit the team that makes that team look really bad. So I'm trying to pull up their score. So 32-6 was the final score of the Eagles game. This game was in Atlanta. Jalen Hurts threw 27 for 35, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. So
it's a good day.
A very good day.
On the road.
On the road.
Yeah.
Only his second. I mean, hasn't even played a full season of football. It's going to be interesting to see what we're going to do. I mean, if I'm the Eagles, Jalen Hurts might have a huge game. It might come down to a shootout. And you've talked about it before. Does Jimmy have the arsenal to win a shootout? He's done it before,
I definitely think you need Ayuk involved if there is any shootout in question.
We're going to need all the ammunition that we have on our team. We're going to need it. Especially if Emmanuel Moseley doesn't play. And even if Emmanuel Moseley doesn't play, this is his first game of the season. He's coming off a knee injury.
Yeah. It's asking a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's asking a lot. And then he's going to have to come in, and we've already seen how the 49ers struggle with mobile quarterbacks.
Yep.
So maybe it's different now. Trey Lance has maybe given the defense a little bit more reps with mobile quarterbacks, so they've seen it a little bit more. I'm hoping that can, figure. I don't know what it was, why we specifically are so bad against it.
It is tough.
Yeah, it's definitely no easy task. There's a reason that's the blueprint for quarterbacks.
Right. But the thing about the Eagles too, though, is like he doesn't have to be like incredibly mobile. He just needs to be a little bit. And then their backfield with Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell to be that safety valve kind of dump off pass, like that can just slice us up. And like that'll be something that they have to account for. And there's just a lot of weapons on that Eagles offense that really concern me when I see the depth hits that we've taken already at cornerback.
Yep. And they've made a lot of improvements on their offensive line. It's going to be tough to stop this team. They're probably going to put up points. I think that is pretty much inevitable at this point. We're going to be challenged. So our offense is going to need to do, essentially what we did last week, but for 4 quarters. Our offense was pretty good. But the Eagles defense is going to be better than the Lions. I don't think Jimmy, we didn't get sacked once. We didn't really face an immense amount of pressure from that Detroit defensive line, which we shouldn't have. Right. Credit Alex Mack and Trent Williams, who both had great games. So did Mike McGlinchey as well. Our whole offensive line deserves credit for what they did. Regardless of who we were playing, they all had a really great game. So,
all right, scenario before we move. Before Eagles Niners game ends 21-7. Jimmy G has thrown 2 picks. We lose the game. What's the call week 3?
I think at that point we at least need to take another look at the situation.
We take a look. So, but what does that mean?
I think Kyle has to be like, he needs to take a long, hard look at it. I don't know how hard he's currently looking, if it's just Jimmy G, or if he's saying, like, does he go home on Sunday night and like lay in bed thinking, who should I start next week? I don't think he is. But if something like that happens, I think he needs to. It's hard to project like, if your quarterback sucks, you're going to bench him. I
think you do when you have this potential superstar that you just bet the farm on, right? Like you just.
Here's something. Do you think the Bears start Justin Fields?
Oh, they fucking dude. They rotated Andy Dalton in to throw a pick in the red zone, right?
Yeah.
Like, dude, get him out of there. Yeah. They should absolutely be starting Justin Fields.
I agree. There's no question. I don't know what they're doing over there in Chicago. Matt Nagy's not a good coach.
Bad.
But
and
I
I don't want
mean,
to mirror that, you know? I don't
yeah,
want to just keep putting the worst player out there because he's got like, but he's got the experience. Like, no, let's get this superstar on the superstar path.
yeah, I think that, I mean, we've talked about Jimmy's leash and how short it is.
Mhm.
I think it is short enough to where if he completely blows up and we lose because he turns the ball over, he can't protect the ball, and he's not scoring points. I mean, you're probably going to need at least 24 points to win this game.
To hang out
So,
with the Eagles.
you
I agree
know,
with that.
I don't think that, I mean, the Eagles are probably scoring at least 21. I mean,
Yeah.
the Lions dropped, over nearly 40 points on us. I mean,
Mhm.
it was kind of garbage time football, but still, it's still something concerning. And we know how bad our cornerback situation is. I don't know. I just feel the more our defense gets hurt, the more our offense is going to have to be a little bit more electric,
Potent, right?
So I think, I don't know. I'm hoping we get a little bit more of Trey Lance next week. And when we do get some of Trey Lance, it's not just like the most
Third
obvious
and 20.
option.
Yeah,
Like,
third and 20. Here's a draw
yeah,
play. Yeah,
yeah, right. It's
100%,
not,
man. That was a little
yeah.
annoying.
I want the wizard, like
Right.
Kyle Shanahan needs to come out, with his little magic pen, draw something up
Yeah,
for
Trey Lance
Trey
pulls out of
Lance,
the pocket, hits Kittle for a touchdown, hits Devo, hits Ayuk.
Yeah,
That's the
what I want to see.
offense.
When I saw him coming in, I was saying this dude's going to throw the ball as far as he possibly can. That's what I thought I thought they were gonna say, Debo, just run, and then Trey, throw it. I mean, that's what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting a draw.
Draw.
I mean, that's lame.
It is lame.
It's lame, Kyle.
Shanahan. It is lame. You're supposed to be a wizard, and that's lame.
We need to have they need to implement a fan play call system in the NFL. Like fans call like 2-3 plays a game. Just click in Trey Lance, deep ball. Got to see it. Got to see it at least once.
Do it.
You got to. When you just been a 3rd round pick. You just spent 3 first-round picks.
You
essentially.
did. That's not. Yeah. That is not all bases.
Yeah. So you've got to do something. I mean, I know it's the first game Jimmy had it in the bag, but
right.
I mean, you might as well use what you got.
Dude, he's gonna be a superstar.
Just
get him going. Just get him going.
I just think he needs to get in and taste the water a little bit, Dip his toe in.
Little splash around.
Yeah, splash around a little bit. Jimmy needs to stop hogging it. So
Jimmy hogging it.
Yeah, I don't think it's Jimmy. Kyle's hogging it. I posted on Twitter. Kyle Shanahan is the best cornerback in football with the way he shut down.
I like that. God damn it, you just shut him down.
Unstoppable, deep. I mean, I don't know who's going to be the surprise healthy scratch next week.
I don't think we can afford another healthy scratch, right?
I mean, you should never afford to healthy
Jimmy
scratch.
Garoppolo.
Yeah, he's just gonna not even suit him up.
He's got the headset on.
He's gonna elevate Nate Sudfeld just to back up Trey Lance.
I need Jimmy G in a headset and a hoodie. Week 3, just letting Trey Lance know what he's seeing. I'm just kidding. Right. Jimmy G's cool.
So, what do you think that needs to be done differently from a 49ers perspective as far as the Lions go? Like, what did you see, and what do you need to see differently this week?
Tighten up the special teams a little bit. I don't think that the clanger off the helmet for Kittle, like, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be surprised if he's kicked himself about that a few times. Like, that's probably really annoying for him. I think he tightens that up.
Yep.
Let's see. The offense is hard for me to gauge right now because the Lions didn't look very good, and it was just, surprise scratch from Sermon. Here's a bunch of run for Elijah Mitchell. Like, that kind of threw me off. If they do that 2 games in a row, I'll have a better idea of like, oh, that's what we're trying to do. I just really don't think that's what the identity of the team is going to look like. I think it's going to be more of a committee. Ayuk is undoubtedly going to get going. That's the wide receiver 1 of this team. Right? We got to keep saying that. We got to keep speaking it into existence.
Yep.
So especially Kittle too. Like, they're gonna have games where they're just gonna funnel targets their way more so than leaning on Elijah Mitchell or Hasty or Sermon. But I do see all of them getting, a lot of rotation.
I agree. And you mentioned special teams. I mean, outside of the Kittle thing too, it was sort of meh. I mean,
Yeah.
Ambry Thomas seemed to be our kickoff return guy, and he didn't seem like he was very good. Ayuk returned a punt, and Mo Sanu returned a punt. I mean, I don't want Mohamed Sanu returning punts. I want somebody electric back there, like
Hasty
Elijah
makes
Mitchell
sense to
or
me.
Hasty.
Yeah, that they make sense to do that right now. Or if you're going to use Ayuk, use Ayuk. I need to see Ayuk in this offense as part of the game plan more. And that the comment of, if you want to be, a starter, you got to play a lot better than the guy behind you. I never read anything, and I've never seen anything on the field to indicate that he hasn't, like that he's not playing at a level much higher than the guy behind him.
I mean, he has proven on-field experience of playing above, which I feel like should be more. I mean, it's not, unless he's seen a lot of regression that we haven't. He's regressed a bunch. He did have a couple drops in preseason, but I mean, plus like the Jimmy interception. I don't know.
Because it was the wrong route. Maybe, and that was like really on him.
Maybe that's why he was like really upset about it. It's just like unacceptable, I was like, are you studying the playbook? How do you not know your routes? You're only playing for a quarter, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you should be okay.
I mean, that's a theory.
That makes the most sense so far, because if he ran the wrong route, got an interception, then he's like, what the fuck are you doing running the wrong route? You're playing for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Was that week 3? Or do you remember what game that was? Was that against the Raiders? Or was that against it was the Chargers because Asante Samuel Jr. picked it off?
Yeah.
So that's like 4 weeks ago. If it's that, then Kyle needs to work on his holding on to grudges a little bit.
Yeah.
Which seems like he does do though, because he does hold grudges on players. So he needs to get over himself.
I agree.
He just I don't know. I mean, we've tried.
It raises so many questions, and I hate it.
I mean, we've tried to attack it from just about every angle there is.
It's true.
I don't know we'll probably never know. That's like the worst part too.
Right.
Because next week he's not going to say, okay, fine, it was because he ran the wrong route. But he's like, I just didn't want to say it. It's like, he's not going to say that.
If Ayuk goes off and has a great game against the Eagles and then is in the press conference and asked about week 1, what do you think his answer could possibly be?
He's probably going to be like, well, now his hamstring is good.
Yeah, do you think he just mirrors the exact thing?
I do. That's what he does, Has Ayuk been asked anything? I haven't seen.
No, I haven't either.
And I guess usually your wide receiver 3 doesn't do press conferences after the game, so I don't know.
He's not wide receiver 3, right?
Apparently he is. I don't know. Apparently he's a wide receiver 4 after Mo and Trent.
Right. Oh.
So I don't know.
Hurts.
Well, the 49ers are 3.5-point favorites. So do you like those? Do you like those odds? If you're betting one way, are you betting Eagles +3 or Niners -3?
The Eagles have a lot of firepower, so they have to win by 3.
Yeah. So for you to get your money back or to win, the Niners have to win by more than 3.5. So 4 points or more. But if the Eagles, the Niners win by 2, you'd still lose if you bet the Niners.
But if the Niners lose by more than 3, that's a win.
If the Niners lose at all, then you would have won if you bet 40. If you had bet on the Eagles side.
Right. So I'm just thinking, like, the Eagles have a lot of weapons that I am kind of intrigued with right now. In my opinion, week 2 is a huge test for the Niners that I don't really expect to ace, right? Like, I don't expect to ace this test.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got too many questions about the offense.
Yeah. I'm scared.
Yeah.
But I also expect us to win. So I'm worried that we are going to lose, but I still think that there's a better chance that we win than we don't. I'm kind of worried about it, but it's like if I were to bet, or if someone to say, who do you think's going to win? I think the 49ers are going to win. I think it's going to be a close game, and it's probably going to be a scary game. It's probably going to be a lot of points.
It's just that the Lions came out with kind of a conservative game plan until they didn't, right? Until they said, "Hey, Goff, let it rip." And then they did, and we couldn't stop it. The thing about the Eagles is they're going to come out letting it rip from the moment that they get the ball. So it's going to be an incredible. It's just going to be such a different game than the Detroit Lions. And the Detroit Lions scored a lot of points there at the end that made me just. I've got a lot of questions about how this defense is going to look for a full football game.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how what you do in the beginning. You have to be able to finish football games. Is it to you? Do you think that Kyle Shanahan has an issue managing late football games?
Closing them out.
I don't want to bring up the Super Bowl if there's any Falcons fans out there.
Sure. Or Niners, like shit. We lived it too.
Yeah, and then we blew it.
We share that pain. Yeah, we share that pain with our Falcon
their pain's
brothers.
Gotta be a little worse. Their pain's got to be a little bit more than ours is.
Yeah, I mean, but losing the Super Bowl is losing the Super Bowl. Like,
yeah.
You
think there some are worse than others?
I guess that Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl was pretty bad.
Yeah,
they got got mollywopped.
Yeah,
but other than that, like, no, I don't know, man. Good, because good games are good games. If teams come back like that, fucking good on them. It just sucked that our favorite team lost.
Yeah.
I think bad games in the Super Bowl are the worst. Like the Broncos Seahawks game. Like, that was a bad game. But
bad game, man. But anyways, do you think Kyle Shanahan has an issue managing fourth quarter games?
You know what? You can't. There's evidence to point to. I don't want to say flat out yes yet, because it always seems like there's something to overcome in the second half a lot of the time too. The week one being that we lost our starting corner.
Yeah. I mean, the question is, what could Kyle have really done though? I mean, with Jason Verrett out, they recover an onside kick. We literally cannot stop.
Mostert goes out for the season, so now you're relying on your rookie and your second year, used to be practice squad running back. You're just leaning on them.
Yeah, and not to mention Debo had that first down to win, which would have won the game. It would have been over, and he fumbled.
Yeah,
that's not on a coach. He drew up the play right. He caught it. It was correct.
Yeah. So, I'm not ready to say that Shanahan's like bad at closing out games. I don't think that's true, but I will agree that there is some evidence mounting that you can point to, like, hey, that's not good, and it's tough to defend.
Yeah, we challenge you, Kyle. Prove us wrong.
Prove us.
If it's not true, you know what? Prove it to us. All right. So on to the Pick'em challenge from last week. John went 9-7, edged me out 8-8. Man, it's crazy. I couldn't. Going 500 feels bad. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like there was enough games in there. There were some upsets though. Week one's
there were.
Time, so.
Well, like Cincinnati was an upset, right?
Cincinnati, Houston over Jacksonville.
That one was dumb.
Raiders over Ravens. That one
also crazy. Yeah, I think the Vegas home field advantage is very real. That stadium was rocking the other night.
Yeah, I honestly didn't expect them to have fans.
No, they got fans.
I guess it's not that far away from Oakland either. It's like a little
road
trip.
People would love an excuse to go to Vegas too. So
that's a good point.
They'll go to the game.
Not to mention that's like the cheapest place to fly to too. You can just get like a quick,
Yeah, no,
flight,
It didn't look like they had a shortage of fans.
No, they didn't. All right, so let's start with Thursday Night Football. Since you won, I'll let you go first. Giants at Washington. Who you got for this one?
I like Washington here. Their defense is great. Even though they lost Fitzpatrick, I still think they'll be okay.
Yeah, Taylor Heineke seemed to be good anyways. So.
Seemed to be fine. It is a matter of time. We're going to start talking about the Giants differently when Saquon is back looking like Saquon. And I think that's going to happen.
Saquon.
Yeah, like the Giants right now, I understand, like, people just like to fucking write him off. Saquon's coming back, and it's sooner than later. So it's just a matter of time before that happens when we're saying, like, oh, shit. And it could be Thursday night under the lights, dude. Saquon likes that shit. Saquon wants to show everybody what's up.
I agree. I mean, the reason I picked Washington, it's not in their identity like the quarterback position isn't the most important position on that team. It's their defense. So I just think, that's a tough task for anybody. Daniel Jones going to have his hands full.
Yeah, I saw the Giants line look pretty bad too in a lot of areas.
Did you
so
see the picture of the
blocking his
lineman
own
and the
guy.
wide receiver blocking each other? Like,
Yeah, that's a bad day. You're
could
getting
you
chewed
imagine
out.
how 49ers fans would react if like Mike McGlinchey and like Brandon Ayuk did that to each other?
Just locked up.
That'd be
Yeah.
pandemonium.
Yeah, it'd be rough.
Yeah. All
And
right. So
Cincinnati and Chicago. Oh yeah,
yeah,
you're
I'll
up.
take this one first.
Mhm.
This one's actually kind of tough. I'm gonna go Cincinnati.
Yeah, me too.
Kind of like what I saw. I mean, Jamar Chase seems very real. Joe Mixon is a
Well, if they just are bombing
beast.
it, like Chicago couldn't really cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stafford just got to pick them apart. They did whatever they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So the recipe, it looked like right now for the Bears is just, all right, just fucking sling it on them. And that's what the Bengals like to do.
Yeah, they need to start Fields, as
Mhm.
we talked about. All right, Houston at Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah, that one's a no-brainer, but we said that multiple times last week, and
That's true.
we were wrong about a few of them. So
yeah.
All right, Rams, Colts. I'm gonna go Rams here.
Yeah,
They
Rams look really good.
Yeah.
Indy looked okay. Wentz looked a lot better than I thought he was, or that I thought he would.
Mm-hmm.
So Indy just lost at home too, right?
Yeah, to Seattle.
They're gonna be mad about that.
You feeling a little upset? It's a possibility. I mean, if there were to be, it's not going to be an easy game.
Let's do it. Indy at home. Yeah, they get it right.
All right. So Buffalo at Miami. This one's you first.
Rams couldn't.
Another good game.
Rams couldn't really stop Montgomery, right? He got to run all over him.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor's going to have a decent day. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Buffalo, Miami. Buffalo gets right. That's a get right game for Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Miami. I'm feeling okay. I feel like they're gonna start 0-2. I mean, most likely what's gonna happen is the Bills are gonna bounce back, but you went upset, so I'm gonna go upset as well.
I like it.
Right, Jets and Patriots. New England for me.
Patriots. Yeah.
Mac Jones looked good.
Mac Jones looked really good. Damian Harris looked really good all up until that fumble at the end. But overall, that was I thought he had a great game.
Yeah, I did. Damian Harris did look good. All right. This is the most important game of the week. Niners at Eagles.
Yeah, the Niners at the Eagles. If I say Eagles, I don't want to be branded as some kind of traitor.
It's a hater.
But we're talking about the second road game going to Philly.
Yeah, and we're still in the East Coast right now. We're in Virginia.
And Philly
right now,
just came off of a game where I understand that the competition wasn't that crazy with Atlanta, but Philly now knows what it feels like to be in rhythm, right? Like they were dancing, like they were moving on them. So Philly, I think I go Philly here.
All right.
And it's gonna be like that, like shootout teams. I think are gonna edge us out until we have Trey Lance able to be, throwing bombs along with them.
Yep, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. It's definitely Philly has the tools to beat us. There's no denying that. So, Raiders, Steelers. This one's interesting. I'll go first. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh. I think they're just a better team. I think Monday night was a little fluky.
Yeah. Well, also no, I'm going Pitt. What are you doing to me?
Oh, my bad. I was talking about it as I was typing. All right.
But yeah, right. The Raiders or the Ravens, excuse me, they've been decimated by injuries. Just decimated. The Steelers aren't. So just a different team overall.
Yeah, just a better team.
Pittsburgh's
just a better team right now. Saints at Panthers. Saints coming off a big win. Carolina coming off of a little win.
This one's hard to say because did New Orleans just look like a world beater, or did the Packers look the worst we've ever seen them?
I think the Packers looked bad. That's my takeaway from it.
They looked horrible.
Yeah. I mean, Jameis had like 120 yards and 5 touchdowns. Like, I just think the Packers
only had 120?
I don't know. He didn't have very many. I don't know exactly how many. Yeah. There was a point where he had 100 yards and 4 touchdowns. So, I don't know how many more yards he threw in between that and his next one.
That's efficient. Yeah. But yeah, so Carolina's a better team. McCaffrey's going to have a good day. Darnold looked good. Shit, but I still think New Orleans has more.
I'm also going to go with New Orleans. I don't know. I just think the Saints are one of those teams that are just always going to be good.
They are.
Seems like they are good, so far. So Denver, Jacksonville. I'm going to go with Denver.
Yeah. I'm just going to go Jacksonville because I want to will that into the universe. This is a willing into the universe pick because Jacksonville, you've got talent on that team. You fuck and you fucks. There's a lot of you and you got to just act like it and go play well.
Yep. All right. Interesting. We'll see what happens. Minnesota at Arizona, NFC West rival.
Arizona here.
Yeah. Arizona looked
good.
Pretty much the only thing that gave me a little bit of solace with the NFC West. Maybe Arizona won't be that good, but they are. So
it looks terrific. So yeah, it's gonna be rough.
Yep. Those 6 rival games for the Niners are going to be brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta at Tampa Bay. I mean, this one pretty no-brainer.
I will go this
unless you want another upset.
I don't want that. I don't think that they're going to pull that upset off.
A little too much of an upset. Cowboys
now,
at Chargers.
This is going to be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dallas pulls it off, though.
Dallas. I'm going to go Chargers. Well,
I like it.
I think that's going to be a good game, though. That is a game I'm excited to watch. Titans at Seattle. I can't bet on Tennessee after how bad they were last week.
Not only that, dude, Seattle at home is a different beast than the teams realize. No, I bet teams realize it. Maybe fans don't, but Seattle at home is a force. Especially
when players aren't really used to fans because they went a whole season without them and they got to go into Seattle.
Loud ass stadium. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, it's not so fun.
Kansas City, Baltimore.
It's a good one.
I go Kansas.
Would have been a better one a few weeks ago, but
right. Baltimore's just been a little too decimated. Kansas City's not. They got the weapons. I think it just leans Kansas City.
Might be a lot of points though.
Yeah, you bet.
Detroit at Green Bay. This one is kind of interesting now.
Let's get a get right game for Green Bay, right? That's just too much talent to say we suck this year.
Yeah, and it's just I feel like bets are off when you're playing a rival too. It's just okay, they aren't going to lose that game. I just don't see it happening. All right, well, that is going to do it for the show today. We are out of time. We will be live in between the late games and Sunday Night Football to discuss the 49ers and Eagles football game. So we will see you guys next week.
Yeah, take it easy.
Sounds like football, baby. Going to be